Philadelphia Eagles now is presented by True Classic Tees. I fell in love with the Philadelphia Eagles when I was a little kid. I've also fallen in love with True Classic. Their t-shirts as well as their golf polos, they have so much to offer. And for our Eagles Now audience, 25% off if you use the code CHAT at trueclassictees.com/chat. We'll tell you more about them coming up here in just a few moments. So we have another loaded show coming your way on this Victory Monday. And we're really going to talk a lot about this Quez Watkins injury update and whether or not Philadelphia, if he is injured and going to be out for a little while, should target the likes of Odell Beckham Jr. We'll show some love to the Eagles defense. We'll talk about what Jalen Hurts did yesterday and redemption. So sweet for A.J. Brown against his former team. You don't want to miss any of it. But let's go Birds. If you loved seeing Philadelphia just beat down and take down the Tennessee Titans in what was, in my opinion, the most well-rounded victory of the season, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. Fans of Entourage know Johnny Drama. Victory! Eagles have been doing a lot of that this year. 11-1. So great to see. So with Quez Watkins, late in the game, gets tackled, has an awkward fall. We saw him go to the sideline, had his shoulder tended to. Jeremy Fowler, ESPN, said initial belief is that Quez Watkins suffered an AC joint sprain, but MRI coming on Monday for a full scope of the injury per source. Left Sunday's game early with that shoulder injury, isn't expecting to miss significant time. But Nick Sirianni did speak with the media today following the win over Tennessee, 35-10 the final. Appreciate everybody who tuned into our watch party. Yet again, it was a blast, and he offered no update on Watkins, but does not believe it's going to be serious. The next update from the coach going to come on Wednesday. Now, reached out to some doctor friends of mine. My mom used to be a nurse, and I asked some people about what an AC joint sprain is. We hear about this a lot in the sport of football because guys get tackled onto that shoulder. And once you can regain a full range of motion and strength, you're usually good to go after about 2, maybe 4 weeks. But if this is of the significant variety for Quez Watkins, and he's going to be out another month, that's when these Odell Beckham Jr. conversations start to get a little bit more interesting, or another wide receiver out there. Maybe they just elevate somebody from the practice squad. I do think that OBJ, the chances of that pretty slim. He seems to have his eyes set on the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is interesting, though, folks. OBJ suffered a torn ACL on some turf last year in the Super Bowl, and he said the next team that he wants to go to might want to play on a grass surface because it's easier on his body, easier on his knees, because he suffered a couple of torn ACLs. Here's what's interesting about that. Giants, turf field. Cowboys, turf field. Bills, turf field. Eagles don't. They play on that really fresh surface at Lincoln Financial Field, and the Kansas City Chiefs play on a grass surface. And Quez Watkins, if he's out a little while, that speed element is really important to this Eagles offense because he stretches the field vertically, but also he can kind of be that gadget guy, pop passes, reverses, stuff like that, gadget plays, and he can be used as a guy who can disguise against the opposing defense to give them a different look so that they don't know what's coming. And this Eagles offense through the air with Quez Watkins certainly torched the Tennessee Titans, who were bad and have been bad against the pass all year, and I'm glad that Philadelphia continued that trend and they identified their weakness just like we talked about in the lead-up to this game during our preview. I think Nick Sirianni actually said he watches Philadelphia Eagles now for tips. 8 catches, 119 yards yesterday for A.J. Brown. Devontae Smith, 5 for $102 in the first tutty of the game. And then Quez Watkins, 5 catches for 37 yards. And we all knew going into this game on Sunday, the big storyline outside of the Eagles looking to continue their dominance and get to 11-1 was A.J. Brown going up against his former team. The clips out there of Eagles fans flipping the bird to the Titans ownership box office is just hilarious. And I should say sweet. They're sweet, but it's box office material seeing them do that because Titans ownership, Titans general manager, the Titans coaching staff, the Titans players, or watching A.J. Brown just carve them up. And look at him after the game. Smile from ear to ear after a 2-touchdown performance. Revenge is sweet, ain't it? And A.J. Brown knows all about that, linking up with Jalen Hurts for a couple of tutties. And since week 6, he has the most receiving touchdowns in the NFL, 8 tutties over his last 7 games, and already this year he's had a couple of performances in which he's reeled in multiple touchdowns. So if Watkins is hurt, I think the Eagles will be able to survive because of the play of A.J. Brown as well as Devontae Smith. They're also stacked at tight end. Like yesterday we saw Jack Stoll, Grant Calcaterra, and Tyree Jackson all get reps. And A.J. Brown, strong Batman, and skinny Batman and Devontae Smith can carry the load for a little while. You'll see more of Zach Pascal, who we were having this conversation a couple of weeks ago, was taking some reps away from Quez Watkins, but Quez sacrificed. He owned up and accepted his role, and he's had and played a big role in this Eagles offense the last couple of weeks. But Odell Beckham, certainly interesting if the Eagles continue and want to continue to go all in. Now, he's going to make some visits throughout this week. New York Giants, Buffalo Bills, Dallas Cowboys, those are the visits expected to take place. He already visited with the New York Giants. Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens as well. Chiefs, Ravens, 2 of the teams on that list who also don't have a synthetic surface. They play on grass as well. But if OBJ is like, yo, I get to go to a possible Super Bowl champion yet again for the 2nd year in a row. If Quez Watkins is out for a little while, I have those slot reps to myself. And then once he comes back, I can still be used. Pretty intriguing with the way that this Eagles offense is moving right now. Now, if you want free daily videos on the Philadelphia Eagles from a hashtag Philly Guys, I grew up right outside of the city and spent my college years at Temple University. Do the smart thing. Subscribe to the channel. Nobody's doing it like we're doing it. Watch parties, live shows, news, rumors, breaking news, deep dive, analytical analysis, and we're entertaining and informative too. Subscribe. Let's get to 37,000 subs by the end of this week. It's a big week, Giants week coming up. So with Jalen Hurts, he does it once again, one of the best passing games of his young career. And Jalen Hurts continues to really spin it in an impressive fashion. And during our preview for this Tennessee game, we took a look at some of the Titans' defensive numbers. Some of them good. Some of them really bad. 10th in sacks, 9th in interceptions, 19th in turnovers, 8th in points per game. But here's where it started to get interesting. On top of the Titans being 3rd in rushing yards and 1st in rushing touchdowns allowed, 29th in passing yards, 32nd in passing attempts, 30th in pass completions, 27th in passing touchdowns. A week after the Birds ran it right down the throats of the Green Bay Packers, totaling 363 rushing yards, most since the late 1940s in the history of this great franchise, I wasn't sure if the Eagles were going to get stubborn and still try to run the football because they couldn't do that yesterday, and I didn't want them to continue to try to pound the rock if it wasn't successful. I wanted to see them identify the weakness of the Tennessee Titans, and they did because Jalen Hurts was able to pop off and go off. And that right there is the sign of a well-coached team. 29 of 39, 380 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, average yards per completion, 9.7, and those 4 touchdowns, 3 through the air, 2 to A.J. Brown, 1 to Devontae Smith, and 1 on the ground for Hurts as he was able to get the edge there. And this is the crazy thing about Jalen Hurts. Coming out of high school, Jalen Hurts was a highly touted quarterback prospect. He goes to Alabama, and he was really successful there. Won a bunch of games, appeared in a national championship. But then everybody kind of saw his flaws as a passer, and that's why Nick Saban decided to pivot, make the difficult decision to go off of Jalen Hurts, considering how much he had won, and go to Tua Tagovailoa. So what does Jalen Hurts do? He does what's best for his career, transfers to Oklahoma, and everybody's like, wait, Lincoln Riley wanted Jalen Hurts, who's more of a runner, as compared to being a passer? And what did Jalen Hurts do? He improved upon his flaws and weaknesses and ended up being a Heisman finalist at Oklahoma, nearly made it to the college football playoff, and Oklahoma was in the conversation for being one of the best teams in the country, and Jalen Hurts was one of the best players in the country. And every time in his life that somebody has doubted Jalen Hurts, he's been able to respond at Alabama, at Oklahoma. Then he gets drafted in the 2nd round, and people are like, wait, you already have Carson Wentz. You didn't need to draft Jalen Hurts. He's going to be a bust. Early in his career, people were saying that he's Lamar Jackson light, and he can't throw the football, and he's going to struggle to succeed as a passer in this league. And all we've seen Jalen Hurts is respond. That's the theme of this debate and conversation. Year 1, year 2, year 3, he's gotten so much better, and the fact that in year one, he was completing less than 60% of his passes, and now he's at 68.1, goes to show you the work that Jalen Hurts has been able to put in. And with Patrick Mahomes losing his third straight game against the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow, the conversation of NFL MVP gets interesting because I think it is Hurts' award to lose. And you look at how he compares against Carson Wentz from that 2017 season. Wentz at this point through 12 games, 10 wins, Hurts 11. Completion percentage in favor of Hurts. Passing yards, Wentz had the slight edge. Total touchdowns, same. 29-3. Passer rating, 108.3 for Hurts, 102.0 for Carson Wentz. If Jalen Hurts continues to play like this and the Eagles continue to win football games, he, in my opinion, is the MVP of the National Football League. So to show some love to QB1, you got to type 1 down below in the comment section. Jalen Hurts is Himothy. Jalen Hurts is balling out, and it's been awesome to see. Now, a lot of you are also falling in love with Jalen Hurts, just like I'm falling in love with True Classic T. Philadelphia Eagles balling out, looking good in the process. You can ball out and look good with True Classic Tees. And here's the best deal about it. 25% off your order if you head to trueclassictees.com/chat. Get yourself some shirts or some polos for this holiday season to look good and feel good. Guys, let's talk about these shirts. Finding the perfect fitting shirt can be terrible. I swear, the thing is either way too tight, has a case of bacon neck, or it's just plain big and boxy, and you don't feel confident about yourself. Luckily, True Classic wants to make sure every man looks good and feels good. Tighter fit in the chest and sleeves to make your arms pop, and room in the torso to keep things cozy. I'm telling you, all of their styles, super soft, at a great price with what you're getting. So guys, no excuses. Get rid of those ratty t-shirts I know you've been hanging on to for years. Upgrade your wardrobe and your closet and get some True Classic tees. A great deal right now for the Philadelphia Eagles Now family. 25% off your order by using the promo code CHAT. This golf polo that I'm rocking right now, the athletic material, it's light. It's really comfortable, it's breathable, stretchable, and you don't really have to iron this either. So one more time, trueclassictees.com/chat. Get yourself outfitted. You can also put together these packs as well to help you save some money on top of the discount that we already told you about. So what a season it's been for the Birds up to this point, as now they are 11-1 for the first time in 18 years. And every time they've been 11-1 in franchise history, 2004, made it to a Super Bowl. 1980, made it to a Super Bowl. 1949, won an NFL championship. And from my seat here, from my post as the host of this great YouTube channel that you all make fantastic, I think this was one of the more, if not the most complete games that the Eagles have won so far this season. Why is that? Really, for the first time, all three phases were on point. And many times this year, it's been the offense and the defense looking really good without the special teams. Yesterday, offense, defense, but also the special teams unit came to play. Going in, the heat was on Britton Covey as a return man. The heat was on Michael Clay, the special teams coordinator, to have the special teams in a better position to be successful and stop giving up these massive returns for Michael Clay because the coverage unit's been bad. And then for Britton Covey, we were just asking for a little bit more. We were just asking for a couple of returns that would pop. And obviously, it's not just on Britton Covey, who's been steady in terms of catching the punt, maybe picking up a couple of yards. The blocking downfield, I saw more effort, I saw more execution, and that right there is a sign of a good team. A negative is that the Eagles were sloppy. How many false starts did we see from what I think is the best offensive line in football? Illegal shifts, illegal motions, those types of penalties cannot happen during a playoff race because something small like that and minuscule can cost you. But even though the Eagles were somewhat sloppy, with all of those penalties, they still scored 35 points when the offense was taking at points 2 steps forward and 1 step back. A big reason for that, defense came to play. All of these players here registering sacks for Jonathan Gannon. Ryan Tannehill had a long day. Josh Sweat with the deuce, Javon Hargrave with 1, Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox, Hassan Reddick also adding a sack. 6 total for the team. And most notably, this Eagles rushing defense that had that awful stretch, which caused Howie Roseman to sign Linval Joseph, as well as Ndamukong Suh. You get Jordan Davis back yesterday. He certainly helped. They played awesome against Derrick Henry. And for King Henry, this guy had already had more than 1,000 yards up to this point. With a month and a half left to go, this Eagles rushing defense has been atrocious at times this year. You can't say that any longer, at least over the last couple of weeks, because they've been really, really good. Second time in 3 games that they haven't given up more than 100 rushing yards. The one time they did was against Green Bay, and that game really wasn't a game either, outside of the Packers staging a little bit of a comeback. Derrick Henry, 11 carries, 30 yards. Average yards per carry, 2.7. Longest carry of the day, 6 yards. That right there is adjustments. That right there is the sign of an improving defense against the run. And Ndamukong Suh, he was a part of that equation. It looks as though he's very happy with the decision that he made to sign with the Eagles over other teams in the NFL. He tweeted this out on Monday morning. It just gets better and better. Feels like I made the right choice. And he also said the other day, I'm lucky that everywhere I've been, I play for a franchise that has very passionate fans. And that right there, E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles, is what Eagles fans are all about. And that's what Eagles fans love to hear. So, show some love to the Birds. Go Birds. Type GB down in the comment section to echo that. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. And, of course, we'll see you tomorrow here on Eagles Now.